Right. Now let's start working on our shooting. And well, let's first of all talk how we are able to do shooting mechanics. And there is few options, but one of them is called raycasting, and we will do it in this video. Now, raycasting is just like throwing hidden array towards some game objects. In this case, towards our players. So basically, we will have some point at the tip of our gun, and from there, when we shoot, so for example, with our mouse click, we will throw hidden array towards our enemies. For that, we will need two things. We need fire point, and we will need layer for our enemies. Now, our soldier right now doesn't come with a separate gun model, and it's included in these 3D objects. But in most of the cases, you will have a gun which is separate, but right here we don't have any kind of gun. And if I'm trying to touch it, we don't have gun. We just have one big soldier model and gun inside this. So it's a little bit hard, but if you have, when you have other game object which has gun, you need to create empty game objects which will be attached on that gun. But in this case, we will attach empty game objects on the soldier. So let's right click, create empty. Now let's call this one fire pose. So it will be our fire position. But now we should basically place this fire position at the correct position. Since our player's gun is down right now, what we can do, we can hit play. We can place our fire position while we are in the play mode, because in the play mode our gun is aimed. So let's go in the scene view. Let's take our fire pose, and we should try to add it into tip of our gun. So you can rotate because we are in 3D space and it might be tricky. You can click F to zoom in and mouse scroll also. Just make sure to rotate and see from all of the axes to position it correctly. Of course, our gun is moving a little bit, but don't worry about it. So just like this, I think a little bit on this side. Yeah, I think it looks fine. So you will have, you should place your fire position roughly at this position. And while you are in the play mode, let's go and copy this fire position. So I will click these three dots and I will just copy component. Now we can stop playing, and now we can select fire position and we can click three dot, paste component values. And now we will have our fire position at the correct position. So after that, what we will do? Well, we also will need to have some enemy layers and also enemies as a placeholder for now. Let's create some 3D objects. Let's create capsule, and those capsules will act like our player, our enemies. I will place it one here, and don't move this capsule on the left and right, just like this. Just move it on the Z, and I will scale it up a little bit on the Y, and let's call this one enemy 1, and I will just duplicate. So select enemy 1, Control and the D to duplicate, and I will take second one right here, and it will be our enemy 2. Now let's select enemy 1, let's select layer, let's click add layer, let's create layer with the name of enemy with a capital E. Now I will select enemy 1 and enemy 2, and let's assign our enemy layer there. Now our capsules have a layer of enemies. So that's pretty much it. Now we are ready to go and open our player controller script and start working on it. Well, first of all, we will need to have few variables. So let's say public transform. We will need reference for our fire position. So let's call it fire pose. simply. Also, we will need to have some range, some shooting range. So we will say public float, and let's call this one shoot range. As a default, I will make it 50 for now, but I don't think that we will need 50. But yeah, we will see. And also public layer mask. And let's call this one target layer. So this target layer will be for our enemy layer, basically. Now, let's scroll down in the update. Here, before we do our animations, what we will do, we will simply say if input dot get mouse button down, and in brackets I will say 0. It means that we are referring to our left click. It's very standard way on the left click. You can attach it to something else, but I will make it on the left click. So when we click our shoot, we want to shoot. Obviously, we don't have shoot function just yet, so I will just make it like this. And of course, it has a red underline because we don't have shoot function just yet, as I said. So now let's go outside the update. And right here, before this on gizmo selected, let's create void shoot. And open and close curly brackets. Now, what we want to do here. First of all, as I said, we want to use raycasting. So we will say raycast hit. Let's call hit. Basically, this hit will store information about everything that we will hit. Now we can say if physics dot raycast. This is method how you can create raycasting. And well, it needs to have few parameters. First of all, it needs to know from where we are throwing our ray. So we are doing it from our fire pose dot position, obviously, comma. After that, we need to tell what direction to have. So we can say for now fire pose dot forward, and forward means z direction, exactly what we want. After that, we should say out hit. It means that it will check everything that we hit. And also we can have different things here, such as shooting range, comma, and target layer. And that's pretty much it. Well, right now we don't have any actual projectiles or impact effects to check if everything is working. So for now, for that, well, we don't need semicolon here. Instead, we need open and close brackets. So instead, we can use debug menu. And well, we can say debug.log, and in brackets, well, first of all, in quotation marks, let's say hit, 2 dots, for example, plus, and outside of these brackets, quotation marks, we will say hit dot collider dot name. Basically, when you are using this debug.log, you will get some message in this console view if everything is working. And in this case, our message should be that we hit and name of game object that we hit. So that's pretty much it. We are already calling the shoot function here, so we can pretty much save the script. And let's go back. And we will have one problem, and I want to show you, and then we will fix it, obviously. But first of all, let's select our soldier. Let's assign fire pose. So let's drag our fire pose here. And target layer, I will assign it to enemy layer. Now let's hit play. Now when we shoot this capsule, we should get message in the console view. So let's shoot. And as you see, we have message hit enemy 1. And we can hit few more times. As you see, we hit it already 13 times. Now let's try to hit this one, enemy 2. Well, when I'm doing this, I'm not hitting enemy 2. I'm still hitting enemy 1. Why it is happening? Well, it's happening because of our fire position. Fire position is always looking on the right side, no matter if we are looking on the left side. So for example, if we hit play, I will show you. Um, and if I go in scene view and if I select fire position, you see it's looking on the right side, this forward direction, blue arrow. And now if I move left side and if I go in scene view, my fire position is still looking on the right side. So that's why we are not able to shoot our enemy too. But we will fix that. It's not a big deal. So in the void shoot, what we will do, we will create vector-free container with the name of, let's call this one shoot direction. And here we will simply check if we are facing right or not. As you remember, we have this boolean is facing right. So we can say if is facing right. So if we are facing right, we want our shoot direction to be equal to our fire pose dot forward, because everything will be fine. And else, we'll add else statement here. So else statement will be for the cases when we are facing on the left side. And in this case, shoot direction will be equal to minus fire pose dot forward. So we will make everything opposite. So when we will be facing on the left side, we will shoot on the left side as well. So we can basically say, oh, I forget to change one more detail here in this physics.raycast. Instead of using firepose.forward, we obviously will need to use shoot direction. That's why we created. So let's say shoot direction right here. So now we can save the script. So Control and S or Command and S. If you're on Mac, let's compile. And now when we hit play, everything should work fine. Now let's shoot our enemy 1. And we get message. We hit enemy 1. Now let's hit enemy 2. And here we go. Now we are able to hit and shoot correctly. Obviously, we are not able to actually see that we are shooting, but this is first step, and our shooting mechanic is indeed working. So we can save this scene.